most substantial thing that has happened in communication in a very long time. We are now in the era of not social media, but interest media, an individual piece of content where you have 6 followers. It's your 4th day. You're a CEO of a business reading this right now, and you've missed the boat, and you envy GaryVee because he's been doing it for 15 years. I have great news for you. We are on equal playing ground now, because if your stuff is good, and I just did a mundane kind of C- for GaryVee piece of execution, your video is gonna get more views than me. That's a level of merit, of thought, and creative that has never existed. What's amazing about LinkedIn is I can post a video right now with great thoughts, and it could get 4 million views if it wins on the merit of the creative. It's not even the social media that I grew up in. When I invested in Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, these stock options right here, back in 2007, you had to build a community for a long period of time to get millions of followers so that a lot of people could see something you say. The fact that, in fact, I would actually argue, it's funny that this got brought up, I'd like to see the both of you spend more time having this incredible publication, make a lot more content for LinkedIn, because I think it would grow your business dramatically. So if I just may put a bow on it, Carla, I apologize. I think the answer is tough shit. Of course, everyone's gonna compete, comma, do you realize that you're even if you've never started a personal brand for the last 15 years, that if your 3rd video or written post on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, because of the way the algorithms work, this is, by the way, this most substantial thing that has happened in communication in a very long time.
You've said that, how you make money is more important than how much you make. You still feel that way? Is that a nod to the impact business sector?
When I think about 2015, I felt like every startup I looked at would walk in and be like, Gary, you're gonna love my startup. We sell umbrellas, but every time we sell an umbrella, we give an umbrella to somebody in a rainforest. And then I would look under the hood and be like, yeah, but you're selling an umbrella for twice the price. You're really not being altruistic. You're just using good as a facade for your selfishness. So yes, I still believe in that. And I believe in that predominantly based on whether you're Tom Shoes or brands like that pioneered some of this stuff, whether you're donating a percentage of your, Patagonia, or whether you're on the complete other side and you don't care about anybody but yourself and you built a business. I think the reason it matters is when you're 90, and more importantly, what really happens in your life between 40 and 90, I just don't think the dollars in your bank account actually drive a level of happiness that unfortunately I think a lot of people are confused by. And so, I think it matters because I just think you'll have a happier life as a human being if you actually believe in what I'm saying, because you'll have more joy in your life, both in your family, friendships, and just how you feel about yourself as you round up your journey. Mm-hmm. Now in 2024, I think we're in actually a beautiful place. I think we're in this place where humans are thoughtful about this, and comma, we've gotten a little bit of the muckery and snake oil salesman of using it as a weapon out of the system. And we're almost kind of in this mature space where I like that it is a subconscious or conscious thought of every entrepreneur when they start a company, that this is an option. And I think that's a remarkable place for us to be.
You're considered one of the leading global minds on kind of what's next, what's coming up in culture in the digital world. And I've seen you recently talking about live shopping and how it will revolutionize small business. And I just wondered if you had some thoughts you can share with us about that and how it would impact founders and companies that are reading Real Leaders.
Literally this is the quote, you can put it in a box in dark black. Literally anyone reading this article, if you sell something, you must stop reading this article and immediately go spend 25 hours researching the current state of live social shopping, TikTok Shop, a startup called Whatnot that is a leader. Yeah. We've already seen Walmart, Amazon, eBay have their own live platforms. It's inconceivable to me that Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube do not have aggressive announcements, M&A. I don't know what they're up to. I have no inside information, but it's inconceivable to me that we won't see things from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, and YouTube Shorts this year. Again, if you're a businessman or woman that has lived in, executed, or pay attention to China, you're completely bored by what I'm saying because this has been a decade of reality in China, but it's finally hit the Western world. It's significant. I think it could be incredibly detrimental to consumer packaged good, apparel, or retailers if they dismiss it the way many dismissed Amazon and social media. I think this is big girl, big boy stuff. I think QVC and Home Shopping Network still do crazy amounts of revenue, and like nobody even knows. Half of under 40 doesn't even know it exists, and anybody over 40 is flabbergasted when they look under the hood. There is something inherently human that humans love to buy stuff when it's in a live environment. It's why live auctions do well. It's why QVC does well. And social media, when you take the conglomerate of the 7 platforms that lead, the sheer attention, the hours spent by human beings in social media is profound and misunderstood in its dominance. And now you're layering in shopping. This is a very big deal. I would argue in a 15-year window, if Amazon stumbled and misplayed it, this could be the thing that knocks them off their perch. Even if you're a B2B company reading this right now and being like, well, I sell SaaS, that doesn't mean anything to me. I implore you to figure out how to go do a collaboration with a fashion brand and make a cool hoodie for your B2B company and then sell it on live shopping just for the awareness and brand building, not the revenue, which I know would seem far-fetched to a B2B person reading this, but I'm not saying it to be wrong or for my health. It's a big medium.
Well, we're very aware of social media's dominance. It's completely disrupted our industry, believe it or not.
Not only do I have unlimited receipts on the internet in 2009, 10, 11, begging traditional media companies to understand how big this is. It's kind of similar to what I'm doing right now with live shopping to retailers and packaged good companies.
That was going to be one of my questions, though, is like, how does an antiquated media platform like a magazine, American Pastime, stay relevant in today's day and age?
By conforming to the new distribution model as an awareness and execution equity of what it does. Meaning, if you fall in love with your form factor instead of your brand, you become vulnerable. Real leaders, the Wall Street Journal, Sports Illustrated is a great example. Sports Illustrated could have been House of Highlights and Overtime and Barstool. It could have been, but it became obsessed with its medium, not its brand. And so how any antiquated anything can do, let's talk about this, because I'm bouncing back to the prior subject matter. If you're a clothing store on Main Street, my dad's wine store in New Jersey is in an affluent area. So Milburn, New Jersey, nice, great town, good money, upper middle class to wealthy. There's plenty of small stores on Main Street in Milburn that are just dying. Of course, we know online shopping, right? However, if one of those store owners this morning woke up and decided to turn their store, a piece of it, into the studio that did live shopping all day long, they would explode over time if they were good, blah, blah, blah. So to answer your question, Kev, it's not becoming delusional or ideological or on your medium. It's about becoming obsessed with your brand and finding ways to convert it into new attention parallels.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, that was one of the major takeaways I got in Day Trading Attention, which, by the way, a great book. And I listened to an audiobook, by the way.
Thank you.
I don't know why it's free on Spotify, but you should definitely charge for it. So one of the things I'd love just to get for our audience real quick, could you just explain to the layman, what is Day Trading Attention and what do you mean by under overvalued platforms?
So Day Trading Attention has it was a real big moment for me when I came up with the term, one of those kind of eureka moments. It captures everything I've been trying to say for 15 years. But again, you've got to kind of understand it. So attention, I believe, is the ultimate asset in the world. Nothing can happen unless someone's listening to it. You can't become president of the United States if you're talking in a cave by yourself and thinking there are people there, right? As a parent, you can't have your child become the human you want them to become if you don't talk to them. And every single thing on earth is based on attention. what people give attention to, and then the quality of the content, the written word, the audio, the video, is the variable if it lands or not. But without the attention, it's the old, that whole, does the tree fall in the forest? Did it even happen? So attention is my obsession. I grew up building my dad's business and then my personal brand. First on direct mail, print, magazine ads, newspaper ads, radio, and local television. Then I did it on Google AdWords and email marketing. Then I did it on YouTube. Then I did it on social media. And I promise you, and I think this will land with both of you based on the history of my career, I will be at the forefront of when VR matters. And I promise you, if VR has 3 hours a day, the way a phone does, you'll go into the VR device and you will be like, there he is, because I don't have any romance. And this is actually very important for every real leader to hear. I am not romantic about how I got here or how I currently make my money. And if I do, I can get caught back to antiquated. I have to always understand where it's going, and I've got to get that timing right. Day trading is a term on Wall Street, right? That was different than the way people used to invest in stocks. Our grandparents, our parents, they would buy a stock and they would go to sleep, or a mutual fund, and they would see you later. I'll look at it in a couple years. Then when the internet came along, we had these kids buying stocks and selling them every second, day trading. I believe that marketing, let's talk about your magazine, right? If I'm buying an ad in there, I've got to make it. I buy it from you. There's a long period of time before it shows up in an issue, which is great and important. But the way social works now and the sheer attention, the speed in which you have to make content and be on top of this is more like day trading than buying mutual funds. And so it captured the essence of what I want. I see the Nike book behind you, right? From Nike to Real Leaders, to GaryVee, the personal brand, to a store on Madison Avenue, to a law firm. The more they understand, if you are doing marketing, if you are trying to get attention, if you want to succeed and build anything, a personal brand or a business, the more you understand it's day trading attention now, the better you will succeed. And then to the point of the book, boy, oh boy, once you understand that, you start to realize how much science and art and strategy and complexity is to be good at it.
Yeah.
I would argue it'd be like me telling everybody, actually, here's a good comp that actually worked out. If I told every kid that was an athletic freak 20 years ago when they were 15 years ago, hey, you should all become basketball players, not football players, because I see the future and basketball is going to grow. And because there's only 15 players on the team and not 53, you make a lot more money if you're a good basketball player than a football player. That would have been the right strategy. That wasn't obvious 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so what I'm trying to teach people, but still being great is hard. And that's what this is. I'm telling you that basketball is coming. Right. But the reason I wrote the book was I'm going to show you how to train and actually do it well.
What do you look for? You talked about some of the brands that you were an angel investor in: Facebook, Twitter, Uber, Snapchat, Venmo. What are some of the components that you look for today in a business that you're going to put your money in or resources into?
I love to talk about publicly about my big wins. There are many more losses that I don't talk about. And the beauty of being 49 now, instead of, let's say, early 30s, is the last 15 years of investing, 20 years of investing has taught me that I'm looking for the jockey and the horse. So in early parts of my career, in the earliest parts, I would only invest if I thought the kid, the guy or the gal, could do it. So it was pure jockey.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got high on my own supply because I was so on fire that I lost my way a little bit and became only about the horse. If I liked the idea, I could imagine myself helping it to get big. And so I almost overlooked the jockey. I am now firmly in a place where I have to adore the idea and the intuition I have that this human being in front of me is capable of seeing it through. Rachel Tipograph, at Micmac, she's on the 6th version of Micmac, and it's because she's capable of seeing it through. So I look for that now. And because I do such early stage investing, I don't have the company's results to rely on that the person can do that. I have to go on my intuition on can they do that. but I'm looking for what I call the jockey and the horse.
We're just going to rapid fire here. First one is, if I'm a direct-to-consumer conscious or certified B Corp company, where should I be playing in 2025?
Definitely. I mean, required, not even optional. Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. That is like, you can't even, like, I couldn't comprehend if you're trying to sell something direct to consumer, not being on those channels. The next tier would be Twitter, X, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Spotlight, which is the TikTok, Instagram part of Snapchat. But the first four are just utterly required to have any prayer of success.
Okay, that's huge. And I appreciate you sharing those new platforms. Remember when you had Musical.ly in there, it was just like, no way this is going to happen, but it did. Next question, if I'm a small B2B service provider or law firm looking to target conscious business owners, what kind of strategy do you think would cater to them best?
So this is like going to blow people's minds. The AI algorithms that run the For You pages and the feeds of these social networks are getting better and better by the hour to understand the content and then put that content in front of the people that they're trying to reach. So can you imagine we're now going to be in a place in a year or two, it's already happening, but I'll go with a year or two, where this individual, if they're saying words that are, conscious, for good, literally the algo is picking that up, and then the feed will send it to people who've shown a propensity of being interested in that subject matter. So my answer would be very heavy YouTube Shorts and LinkedIn for that exact person. LinkedIn because it just finds the B2B environment. YouTube Shorts because YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. And so when you put a social piece in there, a YouTube short, you will show up for the people that are looking for that kind of content. And that would be stronger than you doing it on Facebook and Instagram right now.
Got it. A common question you always get that I think is really relevant that we want to share in the magazine is, if you are a founder growing a business on social media, should you grow it on your personal platform, on your profile, or on the company's?
Great question. The answer is both. By me talking about how I actually do it, VaynerMedia and Wine Library and VeeFriends and everything I have their own pages, and then I have my pages. And humans will tend to over-index brands and companies. It's just the nature of the medium. But by doing both, you're able to take the human audience and push them to your business, and you can work with them back and forth. Collab posts are now a thing. And so I genuinely believe it's both. But if somebody's crippled by that, they think that's so hard or I can't. The reality is either will work. Okay.
Last question here. Brand guidelines. You talk a lot about it in the book. Tell me a little bit more about, should a company have brand guidelines, or do they get in the way of the ultimate creativity?
I think it's kind of, I would say 20-80. So should brands have guidelines? Sure. Look, I think it's good to know what you're up to for new employees. But I think to your point, again, for the leaders that are reading this is a marketing terminology issue more so than a business and operation one. But in marketing land, how to build a brand guidelines, a lot of this stuff is hurting people in the new world. It was good for television. It's not good for social media. I would rather brands focus on being relevant to as many different consumer segmentations as possible versus coming up with a tagline or color scheme that becomes restrictive of creativity in this new world.